So now using these rules for writing electronic configuration, we are going to write down electronic configuration of various elements. So let's start with elements. So let's start with hydrogen. Atomic number is 1. Now the lowest energy orbital is 1s. So we say this is 1s. Now since only one electron is present, so the lone electron is to be placed in 1s1. So this is the first orbital, this is the first shell, this is the s orbital, and electron is to be placed in 1. So in box diagram we can have, look at this, we are just representing this to be in box. So we can have this plus, then look at this, we have helium atomic number 2. Since the first electron is placed in s orbital, an orbital can have a maximum of 2 electrons, so the second electron should also be placed in this 1s, and in box diagram we can have this, the 2 electrons should be placed with opposite spin, or we can say simply you can also write down this up arrow. Then we have, look at this, lithium atomic number 3. Now look at this, the first 2 electrons is placed in 1s, so we say this is 1s2. Now the maximum electrons that could be placed in s orbital is 2, so we cannot place the third electron in s. The third electron should be placed in next energy orbital, that is after 1s, the second energy orbital is 2s, so we have to place 1 electron in this second shell s orbital, that is 2s. So this is the meaning of the placing of electrons. So in orbital diagram we have to say this is 1s having 2 electrons, then second shell s, this is having 1 electron, this is 1s, this is 2s. Now this helium is a noble gas, is a very unreactive gas, so this lithium 3 can also be expressed in this way: configuration of helium followed by 2s1. Now these types of configuration can only be used once we know the configuration of noble gas. Only the noble gas can be used for this. So if I simply write down this is helium, this simply means that we know the configuration of helium, which is a noble gas. This is nothing but 1s2. So whenever we have, look at these elements with electronic configuration, if the element or any particular species contains unpaired electrons. So now look at this, we have this unpaired electron. The presence of unpaired electrons makes the system to be paramagnetic. So means the one which is attracted towards an external magnetic field. So paramagnetism means, suppose if I place a magnet here and we place a substance here, if the substance is attracted towards the magnet, so substance is attracting towards the magnet, so these types of substance when placed in external magnetic field is attracted towards the external magnetic field. Those substances are known as paramagnetic, and the paramagnetism is due to the presence of unpaired electrons. So due to the presence of this unpaired electron, this is unpaired, so any species containing unpaired, this is known as paramagnetic. So if I say which particular configuration will be paramagnetic, then we have to see the electronic configuration, the one containing unpaired electrons. So any species containing unpaired electrons will be paramagnetic. If there is no unpaired electrons, then this will be repelled by the external magnetic field, then that is known as diamagnetic. So this is the configuration of lithium. Now let's look at beryllium atomic number 4. So now look at this, the first 2 electron is placed in 1s, third electron was placed in 2s, then the fourth electron should also be placed in 2s, because these 2s can have maximum of 2 electrons. So all the 4 electrons, out of the 4 electrons, 2 is placed in 1s, 2 is placed in 2s. So we can have, look at this box diagram. This is 1s, this is 2s. Now look at this, this 1s2 is equivalent to helium, so we can write down this as the configuration of helium followed by 2s. So the one which is outside this is highest occupied shell. So electrons in the highest occupied shell are known as valency cell, and the highest occupied shell is known as valency cell, and the electrons are known as valence electrons. So valency matlab the highest occupied shell. So in this, the highest occupied shell is 2 and the orbital is 2s, so this 2s is the valency shell, and the 2 electrons which is present in the valency shell, this is known as valence electron. So this is the configuration of beryllium. Then we have look at this configuration of boron having atomic number 5. So we can, the first 4 electrons are placed here, 1s2, 2s2. So the occupancy of 2s is complete. Then the 5th electron should be placed in next higher energy. After 2s we have 2p. So 1 electron is to be placed in 2p. So now look at this. This can be written as 1s2 is the configuration of helium followed by 2s, 2 and 2p. Now the highest occupied shell is 2. So we say this is valency cell, and the number of electrons in the valency cell is 2 plus 1, 3. So total we have 3 electrons in the valency cell. So we have one unpaired electron, so this will be paramagnetic in nature. So this is 1s2, 2s2, then we have 2p. This is 2p, so we have one electron here. We can place one here, we can also place electron here. Then we have atom number 6, carbon. So 1s2, the 5th is up to 2p1, 2s2, 2p, 5th electron is placed in p. Now p has got 3 orbitals. So 3 orbitals means total is 6 electrons can be placed. So the 6th electron should also be placed in the p orbital, or we can say, look at this, this is the configuration of helium, 2s2, 2p2. Box diagram, 1s2, 2s2. Then while placing electrons in the degenerate, then we have to follow Hund's rule. So the second electron should also be occupying the same in degenerate level with same spin quantum number. Then we have look at this nitrogen, 1s2, 2s2, 2p. The 7th electron should also be placed in. So now look at this, we have, this is the valency cell, and the number of electrons in the valency cell is 5. So we can write down this as configuration of helium followed by 2s2, 2p3. This is 1s, this is 2s, this is 2p. So 1, 1, 1. Each same energy level is singly occupied following Hund's law, maximum multiplicity. Then we have look at this oxygen 8, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. The 8th electron should also be placed in 2p because p has got maximum capacity of 6. So box diagram, I will simply show these valence electrons. So we have, this is 2s, this is 2p. Now according to Hund's rule, up to this nitrogen, p orbitals was singly occupied. So the 4th electron, because we have 4 electrons, 4th electron will undergo pairing of electrons. I am just showing this is the valency cell electronic configuration, or we say this is the configuration of helium, 2s2, 2p4. Then we have fluorine, atomic number 9, 1s2, 2s2, 2p. Then the 9th electron should also be placed in 2p. The valency cell configuration is 2s. Then again pairing of second electron takes place here. So we say this is the configuration of helium followed by 2s2, 2p5. Then neon, atomic number 10, we have this configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. The 10th electron should also be placed in 2p. Now look at this, 2p has got completely filled, or we say this is like this. This is 2s2, this is 2p6. So this is completely filled. So 2p is completely filled. So this is again a noble gas. So after this, now look at this, we have sodium atomic number 11. Now this sodium, look at this, we have this 1s2, 2s2. Now 2p is completely occupied. There is no space left for the next 11th electron to be placed in 2p. Then according to our rule, the next electron should be placed in next higher atomic orbital. So after 2p we have 3s. So this electron occupies in 3s. So the highest occupied shell is 3. So this 3 is what we call as the valency shell, and the number of electrons in the valency shell is known as valence electrons. We have one valence electron. So if you look at this, up to 10, this is nothing but the configuration of this noble gas. So we can simply write down this is the configuration of neon, then 3s1. So we say this is 3s1. This is only the valence shell. I am showing only the valence shell. So look at this, sodium, then we have magnesium. We can write down 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s. Now S can have a maximum of 2 electrons, so the 12th electron should also be placed in. So if you look at this is nothing but the configuration of neon. So we can say this is the configuration of neon followed by 3s2. So this is 3s2. Then we have look at this aluminium atomic number 13. So after 10 we have neon. So we can simply say this is the configuration of neon, because we have this configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Then we have 3s2. Now S is completely filled up. We have 2 electrons in s orbital. Then the 13th electron should be entering in next orbital. So after 3s, the next orbital is 3p. So we have to place the 13th electron in 3p orbital. So this is the valency cell. So we have look at this is 3s and this is 3p. So we have 1 electron. Then we can look at this silicon 14. We have configuration of neon, then 3s2, because p can have a maximum of 6. So the 14th electron should also be placed in p. So we have this 3s, 3p. Again we have to follow the rule of degeneracy, Ohm's rule. Phosphorus 15. We have configuration of neon 3s2, 3p. So the 15th electron should also be placed in p. So we have this configuration here. So again look at this, in phosphorus we have 3p orbitals, 3p orbitals having singly occupied. So similarly we can write down electronic configuration. I am just showing you how to write electronic configurations. After this p we have look at this sulfur atomic number 16. So this is, we have configuration of neon, then we have 3s2, then the 16th electron should again be placed in 3p orbital. Box diagram for this valence cell is, we have 3s2, this is 3p. So 4th electron will undergo pairing. Then we have chlorine 17. We have neon 3s2. The 17th electron should again be placed in p, because p has got maximum of 6. So valence cell configuration is 3s2. So this Next electron, the fifth electron will undergo pairing here. Then we have argon, atomic number 18. So this is neon 3s2 3p6. Again, now look at this, p is completely occupied. So we have valence shell configuration here. So this is again completely occupied. I can look at this. In this, the third 3p orbital is completely. Again, we say this is argon is a noble gas. Then we have, look at this. Next tag is potassium, atomic number 19. Atomic number 18 is argon. We have the configuration of argon, so we can say simply write down. So again, I'll just show you the full form. So we have, look at this, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. So we have 18 electrons here. Then the 19th electron, after this 3p, the next orbital is 4s1. So the 19th electron goes into 4s orbital. So this is according to the Aufbau rule. So after this 3p, the next orbital is 4s. So valency shell is 4. So we have this 1 electron in 4. Now look at this. This is 18 electron. 18 electron can be written as the configuration of argon followed by 4s1. Then look at this, we have calcium, atomic number 20. So this can be written as the configuration of argon, that is 18 followed by 4s. Now s can have maximum of 2 electrons. So this was 19th electron. The 20th electron should also be placed in 4s. So the valence shell electronic configuration is 4s2. Then look at this, scandium, atomic number 21. So now look at this, up to 22 we have this. So this is argon. Then we have 4s2. Now after filling of this 4s2, the next higher energy orbital is 3d. So now electron will enter in 3d1. So this is 20 plus 1, 21. Now look at this. This is in terms of the Aufbau principle. The lower energy orbital is first filled up, followed by the higher energy orbital. So now look at this. Now in terms of the shell, we can write down in this way. Both are correct. Argon followed by 3d1, 4s2. If I write this electronic configuration, then also this is correct. The reason being, we are writing this in terms of the increasing shell. So third shell comes before 4. So we can also write down first 3d1 followed by 4s2. This doesn't mean that the electron is first entering in 3d followed by 4s. But electron has to enter according to the Aufbau rule. So out of this 3d and 4s, 4s is having lower energy. So electron first enter into 4s followed by 3d. So either of these two we can write down this electronic configuration. So we can have a look at this, titanium 22. So we can write down argon 4s2 3d2. So we have look at this d1. So I'm just showing only this d orbital. This is 4s, this is 3d. This is 4s2, then we have 3d. 4s, this is 3d. So we have 1 electron here. We have 4s2 and 3d2. So we have 1 electron occupying, that is again because of the Wund's rule. Then we have vanadium 23. Then this is argon 4s2 3d3. So we have this 1, 2, 3. Then chromium, atomic number 24. So please mark this, atomic number 24 chromium. So we have argon 4s2 3d 4, that is as expected. So this is expected. So expected electronic configuration of chromium atomic number 24 is 4s2 3d4. But the actual electronic configuration is something different from this. The expected based on Aufbau rule. So for this chromium atomic number 24, actual electronic configuration is argon, we have 4s1 3d5. This is the actual. So if you look at this is the actual electronic configuration of chromium. This is the one expected based on. So this is not the actual configuration of chromium. So we'll explain this later on, why chromium shows abnormality. Then we have manganese atomic number 25. So we have argon 4s2 3d5. So we have in this the d orbitals are completely half filled. This is actual. So we have 4s1 3d. This is 4s, this is 3d. We have 4s2 3d again 5. Then we have iron 26, argon 4s2 3d6. So since this has been singly occupied, then the 6th electron will undergo pairing here. Then cobalt, we have argon 4s2 3d. Second electron pairing takes place here. Then we have nickel atom number 28, argon 4s2 3d8. Third electron pairing takes place here. Then copper atomic number, again look at this, we have this star mark here. Expected is 4s2 3d9. This is expected, but this expected is not the correct electronic configuration of copper. There is abnormality here. So the actual is argon 4s1 3d10. That is the actual. So we have 4s1 3d10. So this is copper. Then we have zinc atomic number 30. We have looked at this argon 4s2 3d10. So we have 4s2 here. So this is the electronic configurations of elements. So we can keep on adding electrons. So for all these, look at this, we have to follow the three rules: Aufbau principle, Hund's law, maximum multiplicity, and Pauli's law. So while following these rules, we can write down electronic configuration. So now look at this. While writing this electronic configuration, there we have found abnormalities in chromium atomic number 24 and copper atomic number 28. Now we have to explain these abnormalities. The abnormalities in copper and chromium is due to the extra stability abnormalities in chromium 24 and copper 29 is due to extra stability of half filled in case of chromium d orbital is half filled and fully filled d orbitals. So due to the extra stability of the half filled d orbital and the fully filled d orbitals, chromium atomic number 24 and copper atomic number 20 and shows abnormal electronic configuration, which is not the one expected from the above principle. So to get this extra stability, an electron jumps from 4s orbital to 3d orbital. To gain this extra stability, that is half filled and fully filled, an electron jumps from 4s orbital to 3d orbital, so that it becomes half filled in case of chromium and fully filled in case of copper atomic number 21. So this is the abnormalities in electronic configuration. So the abnormality is related to the extra stability of half filled and the fully filled d orbitals. So one electron from s orbital jumps to the 3d orbital to gain extra stable half filled and the fully filled d orbitals in case of chromium and copper. Now the question is, why this half filled and fully filled shell has got extra stability? So now we have to explain why this half filled and the fully filled orbitals are having extra stability. Because of this, an electron jumps from 4s orbital to 3d orbital in case of chromium and the copper. So now we have to explain. Now this extra stability of these orbitals, half filled and fully filled orbitals, can be explained based on the symmetry concept, Now let's see, in our surrounding, in nature, every object having symmetry is always the more stable. जिसके पास symmetry है, that is always the more stable. Simply say, if I say I am a perfect, if suppose I am physically handicapped, so I am not a perfect, I am not stable. So what I mean trying to convey is, anything in our surrounding which is having symmetry, that is always the most stable. Take a table. A table has got 4 legs. If one of the leg make it slightly shorter, then obviously the table is just hilenge. So that means the table is not stable. So table will be stable only when all the 4 legs are having exactly identical length. So this is the meaning of the symmetry. If our table which is supposed to have 4 legs, remove one leg from one of the corner, again obviously that table will not be stable. So that means whenever destruction in the symmetry, then destabilization takes place. So in the same way, now we are dealing with electron. Electrons are negatively charged. So when these electrons are negatively charged, there is a distribution of negative field around these orbitals. Now take the particular of D. If D is half filled or fully filled, so we have 5 orbitals. These 5 orbitals are present in D subshell. If electrons are placed in all these 5 orbitals, that is singly occupied, then there is a symmetrical distribution of electron negative field. So because of this symmetrical distribution of electronegative field, this half field will gain extra stability. If one of the d orbital does not have electron, so look at this, we have electron here, but in this particular direction there is no electron, so there is no symmetrical distribution of electron. So when we have all the d orbitals occupying electrons, then we have half filled or fully filled. Because of this half filled or fully filled shell, there is a symmetrical distribution of negative electronic field around this orbital. Because of this symmetrical distribution of electronic field, the stabilization takes place. So simply saying, that is D5 half filled and D10 fully filled have symmetrical distribution of electronic negative field. So because of this symmetrical distribution of electronic negative field, the stabilization takes place when we have half filled D5 and fully filled D10 configuration in case of chromium and copper. Then the second concept which is used to explain the extra stability of half filled and the fully filled orbital is exchange energy. Exchange energy. So now look at this. Electrons in an orbital can undergo exchange of position with the one having same spin. If the electrons can undergo exchange of their position, means electrons are having completely more freedom. If the electrons are having more freedom, then the stability of the system will increase. If suppose some restriction is imposed, सपोज मान लो आपके ऊपर मैं रेस्ट्रिक्शन इम्पोज करता हूँ, तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल नॉट बी स्टेबल. इफ आई लेट यू टू डू वट एवर यू लाइक, मीन्स यू आर एट फ्रीडम, एट अ लिबर्टी टू डू वट एवर यू लाइक, देयर इज नो रेस्ट्रिक्शन इम्पोज फ्रॉम माई साइड. तो अगर मैं रेस्ट्रिक्शन को रिमूव करता हूँ, यू आर हैविंग मोर फ्रीडम. द वन हैविंग मोर फ्रीडम मीन्स द वन इज मोर स्टेबल. सो वी कैन एक्सप्लेन दिस बेस्ड ऑन एक्सचेंज एनर्जी. सो स्टेबिलिटी is proportional to exchange energy. So more is the number of exchange energy, more stable the spin. Means because of this exchange energy, electron will release some amount of energy. जब energy कम होगा, जब energy कम होगा तो stability will gain. So we have look at stability is proportional to exchange energy. Now let's see exchange energy. Means electron with same spin can undergo exchange of each position. So now look इसको यहाँ से करें. So we have, let's say this is D5, this is D5, we have 1 electrons. Now look at this, these all 5 orbitals are having same energy, that is D generation. Now this electron can also occupy here, so there is no fixed position. This is not fixed, make it this electron has to occupy this orbital. This can occupy any of the orbitals. So this is the meaning of the possibility of exchange. So this electron can exchange its position with this. This electron can exchange with this. This can exchange with this. This can also exchange with this electron. Similarly, look at this. This second electron can exchange its position with here. This can exchange with this. This can also exchange its position with this electron. Similarly, this electron can exchange its position with this electron. This can also exchange with this electron, and this electron can also exchange its position with this electron. So let's see how many exchange energy terms. So exchange energy terms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are total 10 exchange energy terms if we have this 5. So if we are having any other configuration other than this half filled, then the number of exchange energy terms will be less than 10. If the number of exchange energy terms is decreased, then the stability of the configuration will also decrease. So because more is the number of exchange energy terms, more is the freedom assigned to the electrons, more amount of energy will be released from the system to the surrounding. बाहर एनर्जी रिलीज करेंगे, तो जब आप एनर्जी रिलीज करेंगे तो सिस्टम का एनर्जी कंटेंट डिक्रीज होगा. अब जिस सिस्टम का एनर्जी कम होगा, दैट इज सेड टू बी द मोर स्टेबल. सो इन केस ऑफ D5 with this half filled same spin quantum number, total number of exchange energy terms is 10. Because of this more number of exchange energy terms, the stability of this half filled. So in order to gain this extra stability of this symmetrical distribution, because यहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रॉन सभी चारों तरफ है symmetrically distributed, plus number of exchange energy terms also increase. So combined effect of this symmetry and exchange energy makes this D5, that is half filled, to be more stable. So to gain this extra stability, an electron from 4s jumps to 3d orbital. Same is the case in case we have completely filled, that is 3d10. Take this d10. So we have, look at this. This is completely filled. So the most stable is the one having completely filled. So now look at this, if when we have this plus half, so look at this plus half will have how many? 10 exchange energy terms. So plus will exchange. Plus half cannot exchange with minus half. As I told you, only the electrons with same spin can undergo exchange of position. So when we have this plus half can undergo 10 exchange terms. Similarly, minus half can also, okay, minus half can exchange with this minus half, and minus half. So minus half, the electron with minus half spin, can also undergo total 10 exchange energy terms. So therefore, total exchange energy terms when we have D10 configuration is 20. So as the number of exchange energy terms increases, again the stability of the configuration also increases. So this was the reason why we have abnormality in case of chromium and the copper. So to gain this, we transfer an electron from the 4s orbital to the 3d. By doing this, chromium gains D5 extra stable due to exchange energy and symmetrical distribution of electron, and copper also gains extra stable D10 configuration having symmetrical distribution as well as 20 exchange energy term. This is the meaning of the extra stability of half filled and the fully filled atomic orbital. So this is all about electronic configuration and some abnormalities in electronic configuration.